Right, hello everyone. Welcome to my presentation video. So this is a monologue presentation video about my TEFL final project. And my name is Igusti Putungurah ARYA GARBHA ANANDASKA. I'm from 3D class. And the purpose of I'm making this video is I want to explain to you about the one of the famous teaching method or strategy that is project-based learning, or well known as PBL. So without any further ado anymore, let's get into the presentation. So what skills to be taught in this lesson? So the skill that I want to taught in this lesson is about the student or the learners can be know or can be having a skill to asking and giving direction properly in your life, because in this material I would like to teach about the material is using expression to asking and giving direction in real life. So the skill that I want the student to be mastered in this lesson is the student can be giving or asking direction in real life problem, because this is a project-based learning. So I want to the student to making a project in the end of the class. So that is the skill that to be taught in this lesson. For the next is a scope. So the scope or the aim to this lesson is for likely for a junior high school student from the grade 7 until grade 9, because they are very effective to learn this material, because in junior high school students are likely to learn about grammar, learn about real life problem before they move to the senior high school. In the junior high school is very effective for us the teachers to give the giving or asking direction in this junior high school students, so it's going to be effective. So the material is likely that I said previously is about asking and giving direction in real life. It's likely a very basic material that students need to know, so that's why I'm using this material to be taught in this lesson. What is the learning method that I use in this presentation? The learning method that I use is PBL, or project-based learning. Let's get into what is the PBL mean. So what is project-based learning? As you can see in the screen, project-based learning is a learning method that uses project or activities as media. So we as a teacher gonna be making a project to the student that has been given in the end of the class, that we are gonna making changes to the class by giving this project. All right, the next point that I want to tell in this video is the implementation. So the implementation of project-based learning, there are 7 points in the implementation. The first point is we as a teacher gonna be setting a schedule or series of goals for a student to accomplish throughout the project. So before we giving the project, we as a teacher need to setting a schedule or a series or likely a goals for the student that accomplishing the project. The second implementation is giving the student the choice of how they will present information to the class. So we are not giving a chance to the student, but we are giving the choice, the student to choose how they will present their projects to the class. By doing this, we're gonna make the student more comfortable or more excited to presenting their project. The third point is asking the student for input on how they would like to present their solution to the class. In the previous point, we're gonna asking the student to present their project to the class, but in this third point, we as a teacher like to asking the student for input of how they would like to present their solution to the class. The fourth point is we as a teacher consider having student keep a blog on a project. What does that mean? This means that we as a teacher are gonna make a blog for all of the students in the class, so their process on solving the problem will be recording at this blog. So we as a teacher can exploring or can observe them one by one. All right, the fifth point is invite feedback from the public or those knowledgeable about the topic on your student's final presentation. What does that mean? This means exactly we as a teacher are gonna inviting for a feedback from the public or anyone about the topic that the students make. So for example, the students make a topic about the giving direction. We're gonna inviting the feedback from the people around the town or wherever. That is the most important point, the inviting feedback one. The sixth point is giving the student feedback through the process. So we as a teacher are gonna giving the feedback from ourselves to the student throughout the process, not the result, but throughout the process. And the last point, the very, very important one, is we as a teacher must guiding the student through the process. Why this is important? Because we as a teacher need to know about the skill of our student, so we need to guiding the student through the process. Never let them work alone. All right, that's the implementation. We're gonna move to the next slide. All right, here's the tools or the material that needed through the teaching process of my learning method. So the first is I'm gonna need a video about people that asking and giving direction. By giving the student the video, that means the student will be more excited to learn about the material that given, because yeah, it's like visualization, so it's gonna make more interesting. The next one, I'm gonna need the PowerPoint about the expression that used in asking and giving direction. So I'm gonna need a PowerPoint. In this PowerPoint, there are several expressions, or there are a lot of variety of expression that use in asking and giving direction. So by giving this to the student can be learned, or they can know about this. There are a lot of expression that we use in asking and giving direction properly. And the third one, I need a worksheet for a student, because this is a project-based learning. We need a worksheet for the student's project in the end of the class. This is a very important one. And the last one, this is a very additional. If you don't want to do this, please skip. But I need a picture of a map in the town or somewhere, because I want the student to observe in a real life map. If they are lost somewhere, they just need a map and finding people asking for direction. That is a tool that needs to do teaching process. Is not a lot of tools, because this is a very simple learning method. All right, we're gonna move to the strong and limitation of the project-based learning method. Start from the strong first. There are several strong in this learning method. First is this learning method can enhancing learner autonomy, fostering motivation and engagement, developing language learning and skills, catering for individual differences. This learning method also authentic use of the L2. Next one is developing problem-solving skill. Next is enhancing cooperative learning, because this learning method also having a connection or relative to the cooperative learning skills. And the last strong is the integrating content and language learning. There are three limitations in this learning method. The first is classroom management change radically. What does this exactly mean? Classroom management always changes by the times. So it's very, very limited to always giving the student project in nowadays, especially there are the technologies very, very useful. And the next one is student and teacher need to undertake different roles, and they might probably feel uncomfortable with that change. So the students kindly sometimes must feel like weird to changing the role with the teacher, because in this era or in this learning method is very important to student that changing role with the teacher. The last limitation is student without experience in group work may have difficulties negotiating and compromising. This was said by Johnson and Johnson in 1989 and Sosa in 1994. All right, I think that's all about my presentation about the learning method that I use. Is about project-based learning. In this closing statement, I don't want to say much. I just want to say like this is very important for us, the teacher, that giving the material that students need to understand, and it's very, very important to know the scope or the aim, what grade that should be teaching for using the material. And in the end of this presentation, I would like to say this project-based learning is very, very effective for us, the teacher, need to delivering the material in the end of the class. So after we are explaining the material, we're gonna giving the project the student to make that need to be submitted like 2 or 3 weeks later. And that's all about my presentation in this video. My name is ARYA ANANDASKA and signing out. Thank you.